This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. This is your host, Tim Link, and I'm so glad you're joining us today. Super duper excited. Our good friend, our good pal, you know him as the #1 New York Times and USA Today best-selling author, W. Bruce Cameron, is on with us today. And we're going to talk to Bruce a little bit about his latest book, A Dog's Perfect Christmas. And so we'll pick his brain a little bit about the book, not giving away all the tidbits, but I'll talk to him about how that came about and also his writing, what he's got going on. And there's always something happening with Bruce Cameron, as you know. So everybody hang tight. We'll come back right after this commercial break. You're listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio.
Looking for a dental treat that does more for your dog? Daily Dose is a 2-in-1 chew that pairs a daily dental scrub with powerful supplements to help with the biggest health concerns facing our dogs. Daily Dose was developed by vets to be simple to use and super effective. Plus, dogs love the taste. Available for joint, skin, heart health, or calming. Daily Dose. Your pet's daily dose of awesome. Visit yourpetsdailydose.com to save $3 on your first bag with promo code PETLIFE. That's yourpetsdailydose.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Joining me now is the #1 New York Times bestselling author. You know him from his books, A Dog's Purpose, A Dog's Journey, A Dog's Way Home, and the associated major motion pictures that goes along with those, as well as all of his other wonderful writing. It's our good friend, Bruce Cameron. Bruce, welcome back to the show.
Oh, what a pleasure to talk to you again, Tim. It's been too long.
It has. This has been the longest but quickest year ever. I think.
Oh my God, that is so right.
Oh my gosh, it is just slugged along, but yet here in my wonderful little hand is the latest book, A Dog's Perfect Christmas. So we're going to talk about Christmas books and the novel itself. So tell us a little bit about A Dog's Perfect Christmas and a little bit about the storyline.
Yeah, it's funny because I was challenged by my publisher to write a book that had the same level of, as they put it, heart that was in an essay that I wrote that's in my book, my humor book, A Dad's Purpose. It's called Last Dance at the Bus Bar, and it's just about how you notice things are gone from your life years after they pass. In this case, it was my son as a little boy reaching up to hold my hand because he grew up in the mountains, and we took a trip to the city, and we were crossing a busy road, and it was intimidating to him because he had never seen that many cars. And though he had not spontaneously held my hand in quite some time, he reached up and curled his little fist into mine. And I realized in that moment that it was the last time that my son was probably ever going to hold my hand. And that made me think about all the other things that had happened, the milestones of my life where I didn't know it was the last time until in retrospect, So I wanted to capture that because I was challenged to do so. And I came up with this idea about a family that is experiencing a normal level of modern day stress. There's nothing extraordinary about the Goss family. There's an overworked father. There's a mother who had a great career, but she put it on a shelf so that she could raise their twin boys. And, twin boys, wow, they're 3 years old and they're just, I've got twin grandsons and they're nuts. And then there's an 8th grade girl. And I don't know if you loved 8th grade, but most people don't. So she's got her share of stresses and grief. And there's a widower of the father. So these are just normal problems. There's nothing unusual about this family. And yet the mother kind of holds everything together. And when she becomes ill and goes into the hospital, the family has to learn to put on Christmas and to indeed live their lives without her. And then into the mix leaps a brand new little puppy, a lost dog. And the question is this the final straw? Is this going to destroy the family? Or is it, in fact, what brings the family back together for Christmas? So it's a feel-good family novel, very similar to The Dogs of Christmas in that it's got a lot of human emotion in it, but ultimately it's happy because there's dogs in it.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. If there's a dog in it, it's got to be good. That's the way we like it.
Yeah.
So did you find it, in putting together this book, A Dog's Perfect Christmas, did you find it, I won't say easier, but this is taking from something, a little ditty, as I'll call it, that you had written, and now asked by your editor to expand on that and create a whole storyline. Did that give you like the foothold to write the book, or was this something that was quite a departure and a little bit even more of a challenge to get all the characters and all the plot line put together?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tim. The way this works for me, I'm the dog book guy, and I come up with a story idea for a dog, and I put the dog through various tests and character developing situations, and that's pretty much describes a dog's purpose, a dog's journey, dog's way home. But with this book, it was more important to balance the point of view between not just the two dogs that are in the book, but all the various characters. They all need to sort of step forward onto center stage and take their turn. So the challenge was to step out of my comfort zone, where I do write from the point of view of the dog, and there is dog point of view in this book, but it's not just told from that point of view. And so I really, in the end, think it turned out really well. I think people have just generally been so receptive, and the early reviews have been really good. So Dog's Perfect Christmas is going to be, hopefully it'll join the Dogs of Christmas. The Dogs of Christmas has been a bestseller almost every Christmas time, and let's see what happens with A Dog's Perfect Christmas.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be a great success. And I think you did a spot-on job with it, because each of the characters you mentioned, it's interesting. When you first came on, you said, it's just a typical family. You've got twins, you've got a teenage drama, you got a mom who's sick, and I don't know, that is probably normal nowadays. This is not your typical, Christmas story, because you have to build up these characters, and these are new characters that the fans and the people that have read all your other wonderful books, aren't familiar with. So you've got to do a good job in bringing these characters forward.
Yeah, it's really fun to branch out, frankly. I mean, I've written 3 books in the A Dog's Purpose series: A Dog's Purpose, A Dog's Journey, A Dog's Promise. And in each one of them, it's Bailey who's at the center. It's Bailey who is the narrator. And I think people really love the continuity there, and also how Bailey changes over time, how he becomes more mature, if you will, and more spiritual even, because he's an angel dog in A Dog's Promise. So all of that comes together pretty well, but I also think it's just really fun to introduce new characters and have new situations that are just different. It's just really fun.
Yeah. And I think the good thing about what I see, from your standpoint, at least from an outsider looking in at you as an author, you've got now a real nice foothold's probably not the right word, but, you're becoming even more and more known as building up these feel-good novels, these Christmas novels. I'm assuming everybody's now going to want a Christmas book from you, just like they did. They wanted a dog book from you. And now you've got some really solid characters here that you could build upon, or you can diverge off into something else.
Yeah, my manager, I've got a manager now. I don't know what she's managing, but it feels like nothing's managed very well. But I've got a manager, and she keeps saying, I want to know what happens to this family next.
Yeah.
And of course, that's what happened to me with A Dog. I wrote A Dog's Purpose. When I put that final period in there, I thought I was done with that. I didn't know it was going to become a franchise and multiple movies and all that. I just thought, okay, I wrote a book and hopefully it'll sell, and on to the next. So we'll see. I don't ever say no, because as is true of the Dog's Purpose, sometimes things just come to me out of the blue, and then I'm like, maybe I would like to continue the story of this family.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, as a well-known best-selling author, and obviously a screenwriter, et cetera, I mean, you're doing so much and have done so much. And do you find it a plus being able to find something that everyone loves and then have to build upon that? Or do you find it kind of difficult in the fact that once you build upon it and you're ready to try something new, do you have that liberty and luxury to be able to try that something new?
Yeah, it's sort of like it almost feels like the question that was put to Sean Connery a long time ago about playing James Bond. And, if you're lucky enough to play James Bond, you don't complain about it. I am so lucky to be the dog book guy. I'm so lucky that I today was just reading emails from people that are talking about this new book, A Dog's Perfect Christmas, and so many of them say, "I read everything you write," and that's pretty good. That's a great feeling. I want my fans to get what they want from me. They have an idea of what they're getting when they open a Bruce Cameron book, and I want them to get that. So I don't find it difficult at all. I find it to be so rewarding that I'm in this enviable position of having people say, "Oh, I really like those Bruce Cameron books." That's fantastic.
Yeah. And I think it's, to me, I look at it, and as you mentioned, the books with Bailey, and building Bailey's life up and all the way up to being the angel dog, that's a solid piece. We always wanted to know what Bailey was going on, and the rest of the characters that supported him, we always wanted to know that as well. But Bailey was the key. And I think with this new book and some of the things you've done, it is nice. It's refreshing. We still have a nice dog. We got a nice Christmas theme here, and we got a wonderful family to support it too. And we're building on all these characters, even though we always know the dog wins out at the end of the day. Everyone wants to know what the dog's doing.
I think the moment that puppy shows up, we're pretty sure they're not getting rid of the puppy. That they talk a lot about how they have to get rid of the puppy. We know that puppy's not going anywhere.
No. Once you have a puppy, it's there. It's a lot of work, but they're there forever.
Yep.
Is that all right? So what would you say when everybody picks up a copy of The Dog's Perfect Christmas? What would you hope they walk away from after reading it?
2020 has been a very interesting and difficult year for so many people. And I just want to give people a lighthearted story, a reason to smile, maybe shed a happy tear or two. I am not in the business of making glum pronouncements or writing about events that are awful. That's just not me. I've had people say, "Well, dogs die in your books." I'm like, "Well, they die, but have you noticed that they come back?" And I would have to say that's a great question. And the answer is, I just want people to feel good. I just want people to read a book that leaves them smiling. And I think there's plenty to smile about in A Dog's Perfect Christmas.
Yeah, very well put. Very well put. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more with Bruce Cameron about the book A Dog's Perfect Christmas. Also talk to him about his writing styles and what's gone on in this particularly challenging year, if there's been any changes to how he goes about crafting his work. So everybody hang tight. We'll come back right after this commercial break. You're listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Are you listening to this right now with a cell phone clenched between your teeth as you frantically flip pages on your paper calendars? Or are you a new breed of groomer, bred for speed and efficiency of movement? 123 Pet software automates your communications, doing the reminding, confirming, thanking, and marketing for you. 123 Pet centralizes your schedule, employees, clients, inventory, and more. 123 Pet is the business management software you need. Start minding your business today. Visit 123petsoftware.com.
So now I've got this pack of 4 Shar-Pei rescue dogs for, oh my goodness, probably 5-6 years. They get a regular diet of Dinovite with every meal.
DINOVITE.com.
People remark on what beautiful coats they've got. I tell them, you don't need to wait until a problem presents itself. It's far better to keep the dog happy and healthy at all times.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Continue our conversation with the #1 New York Times bestselling author, Bruce Cameron. and his latest book, A Dog's Perfect Christmas. Bruce, we talked before the break about the book, and it's a feel-good, it's a tearjerker, it's a family book, everything we need at this time of year. And as we know, this year, 2020, it's been challenging, would be the least thing, I would say.
Yeah.
I was at my local Starbucks today talking to one of my favorite baristas, and he was talking about how all of his rental properties, all the appliances are falling apart, and it's been a challenge getting them all put back into place. He's had a flood, and of course, on top of everything else. And I said, well, first of all, don't let the universe know that you have any spare money, because they'll shift it. The universe will shift it to something else like refrigerators and microwaves and whatever.
Yeah.
And the second thing is to say, don't ever say, just when you've seen it all, there can't get anything worse. Because,
don't say that.
Yeah. Some other curveball coming our way. So as a writer, how we've talked in the past about how you set up your craft and how you work your day, and how you manage everything, especially in light of doing multiple things at one time, as well as running the W. Bruce Cameron conglomerate nowadays. How have you found this year, as far as from a writing aspect? Have you been able to stay focused on how you like to go about doing things and how you working every day? Did you have more time to write and work, or was it everyday challenges seem to be more?
Well, I hesitate to say this, but COVID has not been a particularly bad thing for me. I haven't lost anybody close to me, or I don't really know anybody who has had it. And that's on a personal basis. And then professionally, normally I would be on airplanes and in hotel rooms, and I would be spending so much of my time in transit. And you can't always write when you're in transit. You certainly can't always get to the hotel gym, and I gain weight. And I have been able to sit at my desk and write without interruption, because I have that kind of profession. So, I've not had as bad a year as some people. And this has been a particularly fun year for me, because I launched a new book series called Lily to the Rescue for little kids. I've got a younger reader series called The Puppy Tales, which honestly adults read too, but it's basically, a lot of them are adaptations of my grown-up books, as I like to call them. But beyond that, I wanted to go even younger, and that category is called chapter books. And I get Lily is a dog who is rescued and then works and lives at an animal rescue. And she winds up getting involved in saving baby animals. And so I just published 2 more of those, so I've got 4 out. There are 8 total in the series, and I'll put an asterisk and say thus far, because maybe the series takes off and they want more of them. They're just so much fun, and so it's been a great year for me in that regard as well. I haven't been on book tour. I haven't been anywhere since early March, but that's okay, because I've got 7 books coming out this year, Tim. So I have to really focus on writing. I mean, it's been a heck of a couple of years.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, that's fantastic, because, as I look at it and as I talk to other authors and writers, as well as just, friends and family, et cetera, it seems to, for the most part, have the pendulum swung one way or another. It's like, okay, I'm not going out as much. I'm not going on vacation. I'm not going on book tours. I'm not flying, et cetera. So I'm using this opportunity to write what I've been wanting to write, or put together these series, or even have some, we'll say, in the bank for later on when it does get crazy again. And then others are like, I'll get to that tomorrow. There's a rerun of the Super Bowl running going right now, and so I got to watch that. So it seems like, and I think for me, it's been pretty much, I always looked at myself as an extrovert, and I find myself being more and more of an introvert, because I haven't really missed a step.
Yeah. People get isolated, and let me recommend to anybody who's feeling that way, time for a dog. Get a dog in your life where, you're not interacting with people as much, but you can have a really solid relationship with a dog. And the dog will also make you get out of your chair and walk around the block. People who own dogs live longer because they're exercising and they're in better moods. And, if you have a really bad day, your dog can can take that bad away. So I hear you. A lot of people feel isolated. A lot of people find themselves developing habits where they're just feeling lonely and introverted. And that's when you find yourself going through that, my recommendation is twofold. First, get a dog book and then get yourself a dog. I mean,
there you go.
That's it.
And get a Bruce Cameron dog book, and now you're really set. You've got the
There you
trifecta. You got the trifecta going there. Yeah, I agree, and that's the exciting thing. And I know your daughter's involved in rescue, and obviously you and Catherine's been supporting rescue for quite some time. And I am pleased when I work with the very numerous rescue groups, and I see what's going on. That there are a lot of dogs and cats and other animals being adopted out that have not been in the past, and that's as we look for those acorns of positivity. There, that's one of the biggest ones, and
I think so.
Yeah, and you are absolutely right. A dog will not let you break the routine. You're getting up. That's right, and you're probably giving more treats and more movement than you ever have before.
And you're probably getting out of bed on when you feel like sleeping in, but it's like, oh no, don't you know? You get up now. You always get up now. Get up.
That's right. That's right. Don't you dare change my routine. It's time to do it. That's for sure. All right. Well, wonderful. Hey, everybody go out and pick up a copy of the book. It's A Dog's Perfect Christmas. Another wonderful job by our good friend, Bruce Cameron. You're going to love it. You're going to love the family. You're going to love the new puppy in the book. And it's ramping us up for Christmas time. So that's even better. That's got to be positive. And we're excited about it. So Bruce, another fabulous job. And as always, it's fantastic to talk to you, my friend.
It is always a pleasure and an honor to be on your show, Tim. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Welcome. Well, we're coming to the end of the show today. I want to thank everyone for listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. I want to thank the producers and sponsors for making this show possible. If you have any questions, ideas, comments for the show, just drop us a line at PetLifeRadio.com. While you're there, check out all the other wonderful shows and hosts. We've got a plethora and a cornucopia of wonderful entertainment. So check it out at PetLifeRadio.com. So until next time, write a great story about the animals in your life. Put it in a book, a blog, an article. Who knows? You may be the next guest on Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Have a great day.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.